Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome back to our series on the Havamal. Today we have verse 117 to consider, and we, of course, have three different translations for us to look at. The first is by Olive Bray, which reads, "Wounded to death, I seen a man by the words of an evil woman. A lying tongue had him bereft of life, and all without reason of right." Then the Bellows translation puts it this way. I saw a warrior wounded fatally by the words of an evil woman. Her cunning tongue caused his death, though what she alleged was a lie. And then the last translation we'll look at today from vikingnerd.org. I saw mortally wound a man a wicked woman's words. A false tongue caused his death, and most unrighteously. So, this verse didn't pull any punches. To begin with, we can take a number of lessons from this. To begin with, lies are weapons. They absolutely are. When you are faking a reality, particularly in a manner that is intended to deliberately damage someone else, you are using that as a weapon as surely as if you were using a knife or a gun or a rock to do them injury. And of course, lies are a known tool of very unscrupulous women for the specific purpose of destroying men. We've seen a number of false accusations in recent years that can and did actually end lives. And this is a very ancient problem. If it's mentioned in the Havamal, that means that these were things that our ancestors had seen in times past, which is why there was a warning against them. And it's been said that the strength of men is in their bodies. They use their physical power to fight, whereas the strength of women are their words. We use our minds, we use our tongue to conduct conflict, and we see this all the time. And then we add on our modern issues in this. We have the guilty until proven innocent. That's an attitude that's gaining sway amongst many people to absolutely disastrous consequence. Several years ago, we saw the Me Too movement. And while there were legitimate issues that were brought to the forefront, and some actually were criminally actionable, and there were proper consequences. But the trouble is, it became extraordinarily indiscriminate almost overnight, and it led to believe all women, not you have to prove your claim. If you're going to try to create someone, if you're going to destroy them professionally, socially, financially, legally, you are going to have to prove your current claim. All of that was thrown out the window, saying it was actually abusive not to automatically believe what women were saying, or to even examine the motivations, or to think about, oh, you make this accusation from multiple decades ago. Why are you talking about it today? Why didn't you say something at the time? It was just a horrible, huge thing, and we're still feeling the effects of it. And of course, because people abandoned this idea of having to provide proof, it led to the MGTOW movement, men going their own way. Nowadays we generally hear them called as red pillars. They're saying, oh, don't get married, don't do this. Women are all out to get you. They don't just want your money, this, that, and the other thing. Men have come to see women as beings who are inherently harmful to them. And a lot of it had to do because women were telling lies, and this makes it so difficult for people who have experienced genuine abuse and who've had to make very serious accusations because it actually was true. It makes their lives so much more difficult. It makes their quest for justice so much more difficult because you had people who took advantage of a mood where people were trying to see retribution for actual problems. And we are living with those consequences right now. So we do have to practice virtue, don't we? And restoration of honor, particularly in such a serious matter, it is achieved one heart at a time. And of course, once that heart is in order, there will be corresponding reactions that go along that demonstrate that improved heart condition. And it takes a lot of strength to reject the depravity of the rest of the world and its promises of expediency and power. And that's why so many women did jump on the whole Me Too movement. The ones who were not making legitimate accusations, the one who were using this as a tool for revenge, the ones who were, angry with a man, perhaps for, you know, mundane, just basic relationship issues that really had nothing to do with anything. And they saw a way to destroy him, and they saw a way to gain prestige and to have power. And it was all so quick and it was so easy, and no one dare question them. You see how people who decided that honor and virtue doesn't matter, just how quickly they create absolute depravity and nightmares for people. And we also need to think about the company we keep. We should choose our associates very wisely, just in general, but particularly when it comes into people who will use and say and twist anything and fabricate things for gain, regardless of whether it's true or not. People who are without honor, people who slander, people who just callously destroy people because they can, or they just saw that as an expedient way to get revenge on someone over some completely unrelated offense. They are really unfit people to be around. And yes, that is passing a judgment on someone's character. And I realize how uncomfortable that is because from the 90s onwards, I have really seen this concerted effort say, you must never judge anyone ever, instead of, let's judge people's actions. Let's judge these manifestations of their character and make decisions about whether or not we want them in our lives based upon those actions. That was thrown out the window in favor of, you must never judge anyone because that's just mean. Well, these are the consequences. These are the consequences of that. And of course, the closer a relationship is to us, the more important that other person's character becomes, and the more important our own character becomes. So we do need to be choosy about these things. And that really sums up what I got out of this week's verse. I think there's a pretty broad discussion that we could have for here, but I would like to see some people share their own thoughts in the comments section, or if you would be more comfortable to email me at brigantiablackbird@protonmail.com, because this gets into a lot of pretty current issues that we are feeling the effects of and will continue to feel the effects of until we do, as men and women, start prioritizing honor in our relationships, requiring ourselves to live up to a particular code of honor, so that we're not inflicting the wounds that lead to this just whirlpool of despair that is going to be so difficult to climb back out of. It can be done. It will be done. Things will improve over time, but we have to start making choices today in the here and now that will set the stage for that eventual better outcome. So again, share your thoughts with me. I'd love to hear from you. But that'll do it for what I have to say about this particular verse. Of course, next week we will move on to verse 118. So be sure to come back for that. But until next time, bye.